So we're live on the Raj podcast with your host Raj. We've got a very special guest, Michelle, from as you can see, Mindful Warriors. Where she's doing loads of stuff. It's very hard to say where to pick from what she's done. But first of all, how are you today?
I am well, thank you. How are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. The UK, the days are getting bigger in the UK a bit now, so it's
Okay.
nice. It is nice. I like I was mentioning. Um, of you won lots of hats. You do lots of stuff. You've been a best-selling series author or co-author, and you've done lots of stuff. But how did you become an author? We start with the you becoming an author. How did you become an author?
Oh, well, being an author, that was just something that I was always very passionate about.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't remember a time where I wasn't writing from the time I learned to write. And so it's an interesting story because coming back into my poetry was actually a tool for me to
Right.
come back into because once you learn about a little bit of our backstory and the backstory of my children and just how many extreme challenges we navigated, coming back to my poetry as a mom was actually me coming back into self-love and self-care. And so for me, um, being an author, writing is a passion, and for me, it's healing. It's healing work for me. And so, yeah, I mean, not everyone's going to be an author, but for me, it's a calling.
Yeah, it is, and so basically, was this series done with is it Marco Robinson? Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. So I'm in book 7, and he has a series out, the
right,
Start Over Movement, and it's a best-selling series, and it's just a whole bunch of people like myself who have navigated some extreme stress or extreme challenges, and it's quite beautiful because it's about overcoming, and every story is unique. And so I was fortunate enough to be in book 7 of the series.
right.
Hmm.
Wow, wow, that is incredible. And did you have any inclination that okay, this is going to become a best-selling series?
No, not not really. But I mean, I can't really take that the credit for that. That is because it's Marco Robinson is the person who's, you know, created the brand and found the authors and is I would give the credit to him. So yeah.
And Marco Robinson's been writing. People who don't know this, and obviously, unfortunately, I've not been able to read much myself, to be honest, for many years. But so, tell us a little bit about Marco Robinson. So he's been writing he's been writing for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak so much to Marco Robinson, but he's got multiple, also man of many hats
Yeah,
and projects.
right.
Yeah, yeah, he's done quite amazing in his field. But and so this is just one of his projects, the Start Over movement, where he
Wow.
brought together authors to tell their stories. Yeah.
So how many authors are there in this book in
Oh
this
gosh,
series?
I'm not really even sure, but each has at least. Oh, I should have brought the book. Then I could have counted it out for you. There's multiple authors in each book, but let me just
Right.
for you. Let's see. Start Over, Volume 7. Let's see how many of us are there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of us in this in Volume 7.
Wow. So there's 14. authors in the series, yeah?
No, 14 authors in this one book because
One
everyone
book,
has yes,
right.
yeah.
And what is the book called?
It's called Start Over.
Start Over.
Hmm.
Right, right. And this was released, when was it released, this book?
This one was just released a few months ago.
Right.
Yeah. But he started releasing this series, I believe it was like last year that he started. And he's on to book 9 now. So yeah.
Already. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, that is. Yeah. Already on book 9 already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That is incredible. So these are these poetry? Are they like poetry, these books,
No,
or
no, these are stories of
stories?
resilience. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
My
The
poetry
stories are
book is
different.
my poetry book is something separate. That was
Right.
the first book that I published.
Right. Okay. So these are separate, which you publish poetry books, yeah?
This is
Right.
stories,
Yeah.
uh, those life stories of resilience.
Right. 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 Okay. And tell us a little bit about your poetry books. I mean, when was the last book you wrote? How many have you written so far?
Yeah, I mean, I could have more books out, but I just my life is very busy because I've got 2 children who've got
Yeah.
some pretty extreme health challenges and mental health challenges, and they are my priority. The
Sure.
poetry book that I do have out there, it came out in 2022, and
Right.
it was like I was saying, it was a way for me to come back to myself and find healing. So for me,
Right.
it's really not about how many books do I put out there.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not about numbers and being published was honestly, it was very humbling and it was very rewarding because it's a lifelong dream. But for me, the primary thing that I wanted to do was to focus on my passion and to focus on my own healing. So I'm going to back it up a little bit if you don't mind, so I can tell you a little bit of how the
Sure.
book to be. So I have 2 children who navigate many, many challenges, like I said. So at 3, my son was being diagnosed with autism. My daughter was diagnosed with high functioning autism around 9 years old. At 11, she was
Yeah.
being diagnosed with an extreme health disorder, which is a very rare health disorder that some females, 1 in 2,500 females, go through, and it's called Turner.
Right.
And so, because of that, she ended up with a hormone condition. She
Right.
ended up on growth hormones. She ended up with full on open heart surgery. She, and multiple other health ailments. And then finally, she went through what I describe as an extreme nightmare, and I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And she went through 2023 Christmas time. She woke up and she wasn't even herself, right? So she woke up. She's usually this articulate, bright, gentle, sweet kid, and she woke up raging. She woke up, throwing things, and she wasn't herself. She wasn't herself. One moment she would start talking as if she was a toddler. And so I knew something was extremely, extremely wrong, right? So I took her to the hospital, and the doctors actually thought she had a brain infection. Okay.
Right.
And yes, and then she became suicidal, multiple medications. It took over a year to get her settled. Okay. And so one of the things that I do now is I've created a framework that helped me navigate all my extreme challenges, right?
Right.
And that framework can help people who are going through extreme stress and extreme challenges to find resilience and to find some peace in their lives. And
Right.
so circling back to my poetry was my means of healing, right? So it was when she had had her open heart surgery in 2020. And meanwhile, my son, who's already diagnosed with autism, was being diagnosed with a mood disorder as well. And he's 11, and this extreme depression shows up. And I was talking to a counselor, and the counselor told me, "You're doing so much for your kids. You're doing so much for your family. You have to find one thing for yourself." And Raj, the thing is, you become older and it's like responsibilities take over, right? And
Yeah.
you forget the things that you loved when you were a child, the things that you felt passionate about. And like I said, the thing I was passionate about was writing. And at that time, I didn't have time to be writing novels. So I thought, okay, I have time to write poetry. So I started writing poetry, and I started, uh, just while I'm drinking my morning coffee, at no excuses. I found time to write my poetry. Next thing you know, I had a whole, and it was healing for me. It was my own self-care, my own healing. Next thing you know, I had a whole page on Instagram, Mindful Warriors Way. And then next thing you know, I sent it out to a few publishers, and I was published, and my childhood dream came true. And so for me, my poetry is a testimony that each and every one of us, regardless of our situation, can still find our dreams. We can still find our passions, and we can still find self-care and healing, So that's what my poetry means to me. So, yeah, I mean, I probably have enough on my poetry on Instagram to publish another few books, but that's not the most important thing for me right now. Um, yeah,
Right.
like you said, I'm a woman of many hats, so there are a lot of other things that I also need to get done, and my kids will always be number one. They will always be my priority. So, yeah.
Well, it's still amazing though. I mean, having two kids, you've still managed to do so much stuff. That's a credit to you.
Thank
That is that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, uh, not just being an author, you've done so much stuff. We'll talk about obviously what you're doing in a Mindful Warriors way. Obviously, we'll put in the link as well on here, which I've seen the website. So this
Mhm.
is basically the official website.
Yes.
Uh, so this is the website. Do check it out. It's in full detail. So you're the founder of this. How did this all come about?
Yeah, so this came about through my own challenges. And, people would always ask me, how are you, after all of these challenges, still standing? How are
Yeah.
you okay? Right? And I would joke and I'd be like, oh, I'm just a secret witch. I just practice witchery and that's why I'm okay. But the truth is, I'm actually a big nerd. And so I'm also a teacher. And so I'm constantly learning. And one of the things I've had the pleasure to teach is social and emotional learning here in Canada. I was a
Right.
social and emotional learning teacher for the Surrey School District. And so I'm constantly learning about mental health and the strategies for emotional intelligence building and the strategies that are going to help us to be okay. And those were the strategies that I was using. But I was also learning constantly from other courses, other sites. I took a free course from Yale, mental health from UBC, all these different courses. And I realized that there were certain strategies I was using, and I put it together in a framework that would make that would be very easy for people to follow.
Right.
The framework is to feel better fast, and it's FAST. So if you have time, I'd love to get into it a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. So the F is we have to allow ourselves to feel and express, right? There's all this research out there that if we don't allow ourselves to feel what we need to feel and allow those feelings to release. And for me, the poetry was a huge healing process because I was allowing myself all the feeling that I needed. Journaling can do the same. Lots of different methods can do that for you. But people, unfortunately, often tell themselves that feeling is weakness, right? And crying is weakness. And that couldn't be further from the truth, because you can't heal something unless you are going to face those demons, right? You can't heal something if you're going to pretend like it's not there. So feeling is actually healing. And so vulnerability is actually strength, because otherwise, if you repress those emotions, all these studies show that repressed trauma will become illness in your body, right? If you don't deal with all the increased cortisol levels, and you don't, figure out these strategies, you will probably become ill. And so we want to process our feelings before we get to that point. The A and the S of the FAST formula stands for to accept and surrender that which you cannot change, right? So what I noticed, even so, for a while I was teaching special needs as well, and what I noticed about a lot of these parents is that they were constantly hoping that their kid was something that they couldn't be, so they would start comparing their child to this neurotypical child, thinking, oh, he needs to be there, she needs to be there, and they could never get there because they had an intellectual disability, or they had autism, or they had some sort of special needs. That doesn't mean to say you can't grow, right? Yeah. Especially with autism, because autism is such a huge spectrum, and a lot of autistic kids can make huge growth. That doesn't mean you can't grow, but you cannot compare someone with an intellectual disability with somebody who is gifted, you know what I mean? Or somebody who has typical intelligence. That's just going to cause suffering.
Right.
Once you accept, okay, these are the limitations, these are the challenges, this is what we are dealing with, then you free up your energy to do something about it and control the things that are in your control. Yeah, I mean, we say in Punjabi, it's like hukam, right? Like God's will.
Yeah.
There are some things that are written, and if you're constantly fighting the divine will, you're going to be depleted, right? So that's the A and the S. And then the T stands for transform with your mindset, because mindset's everything, right? You were saying here that I was able to do so much regardless of the circumstances. Well, that's because I never will accept victim mindset, right? If I sat here and I felt sorry for myself as a mother, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this, so many challenges, so many health issues, and now mental health issues, and I sat here and I felt sorry for myself, I'm not going to be able to be the mother that I need to be for these kids.
Yeah.
I can't afford to be in victim mentality. And when we do that, when we make ourselves victims, instead of thinking to ourselves, okay, this is what it is, what can I do about it? And step into the doing instead of the victimhood, you know what I mean? Like, then otherwise you're stuck. You're stuck.
Yeah.
I prefer to grow and evolve and to push myself and to constantly learn and be better, and that starts with transforming your mind.
Transforming, yeah. So basically, the program which you do, which is on the website, do check it out. If you are watching this later on, we will be putting a link on the video description as well. So this is the official website, and if you are suffering from any stress, do get in touch with Michelle. and she's gonna she's an expert in this, so she's gonna help you out.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's very it's in full detail what you do on the website. I can see, I've been on the website myself, and obviously on there. So do you think so many people suffer from stress? We know that, don't we? It's such a common thing. And on the and how hard do you think is it, or how for people to get out of that? Are they able to get out of it? The kind of a program which you offer them,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've only just started this program
right?
for less than a year. So I've run it a few times, and there are women who there's a woman who is 60 and who had extreme anxiety, and she said that it changed her life. There's a woman who is suffering from MS, like a debilitating disease, and she feels like her trauma created that disease in her body. She's now practicing all the strategies, and she said that her symptoms are subsiding. So it's absolutely possible, but all I can do is teach all the strategies
Right.
within the framework. So that's the
Right.
framework. There's so many strategies within that framework, including, affirmations, gratitude practice, meditation, mindfulness, like so many different strategies. And then you choose the ones that work for you, but it's up to you to actually do the work, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There has to be that willpower, doesn't there, um, for the person. Uh, on the Yeah, that's something which is a very good thing which you're doing there, helping people. Such a common thing
Yeah.
in the UK as well. It's such a big thing, stress and stuff.
People are
And
stuck. Too many
Yeah,
people are overwhelmed. And I know the price point, if it feels too high, I am happy to bring it down for people who, aren't able to afford that price point. But I'm also happy to hop on free half-hour calls. So if
oh,
people want to just reach out, yeah, I'm happy to help with a strategy or two. And I also have a free workshop, but I would need people to reach out. So you could either reach out so that I can, set up the details. It is Mindful Warriors Way is one of my on Instagram. One of my Instagram handles, and the other one is Mothers of Mental Health. So either one, if you reach out, or on the website, I have my email there. So whatever way kind of works for you. But yeah, I'm here to. Uh, I really want to for people to realize that it's not hopeless. There are things we can do. So
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, you can't give up, can you? And what you're doing is it is absolutely amazing. So do check it out. Like I said, we will put it. Anybody who's watching this afterwards, we will be putting it in the video description as well. And it is very detailed website, which is Michelle has done. And she does, she helps everyone. You have mentioned as well. I mean, I've seen on a because obviously we got in touch, didn't we, via matchmaker, didn't we? Um, and you have also mentioned about the stigma about mental health as well.
yeah.
On there, which is also such a massive thing, mental health. On there, do you think is it that there's not enough awareness at the moment regarding mental health as well?
Well, I don't. I mean, I think that awareness is building for
Yeah,
sure, right? But there's still a stigma. There's still a stigma, and honestly, so what my daughter went through was psychosis, and I
mm,
didn't even know what that was. You
yeah,
know, and even like the doctors thought she had a brain infection at that time. There's not enough education, and I'm a teacher, but there's not enough education about warning
mm,
signs. There's not enough, and there and there needs to be more, right? There needs to be more education about how mental illness can present. But I think one of my big missions, if you will, is to come out and talk about the stories. And part of the reason why I'll talk about the stories is because I want people to be educated and to learn more about it, but also to see the humanity behind the illness, right? So if you go here in, because I'm here in Vancouver, and if you go to Hastings Street here, you have all these homeless people living on the streets.
Yeah.
And you look at statistics, 50 to 70%, depending on where you gather your research from, of those people have mental illness and are just not getting the help that they need. And I want people to start seeing through a lens of humanity and compassion, right?
Right.
Not their fault. If you go through psychosis, it is an illness, just like diabetes is an illness of the body where you're lacking insulin. It is an illness of the mind where they are either lacking dopamine or there's too much dopamine or other neurotransmitters. It's really complex. The psychiatrist can't even give me a straight answer sometimes, but it's an illness. It is an illness of the mind. It is not anyone's fault, right?
No.
And the key thing to remember is when someone is acting like that, that is not who they are. When my daughter was acting like that, when she was getting, she is not an angry person. She is like the sweetest, gentlest, most empathetic kid in the world. She would, she would be so kind to others to her own detriment. She's a sweetheart. But when the psychosis took over, that was not her. It was a completely different kid. Raging, throwing things, talking in a way that it wasn't her. It was really scary. But the important thing for people to remember, if you see that, or if you see that on the streets and a homeless person, that is not who they are. That's the illness, right? And so I think that's really important. Just help. They just need help. They need the right medication to sort out what's going on in their brain. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's absolutely spot on. Definitely, they do need to be a bit more awareness. I think even in the UK, there's not much awareness regarding mental health, and not as much what needs to be done on there. Like you said, so do check it out. Do check Michelle's website out, and if you know anybody who is suffering, from stress or anything related. And obviously, do mention Michelle's Mindful Warriors Way, so they can get in touch with Michelle and on there. Absolutely, Michelle. This has been such a pleasure. It's been fantastic to have you on. Thank you very much for taking out the time. Like I said, I know how many hats you wear. You wear loads of hats, like you're wearing today.
And I told you earlier it was to hide my hair because my hair is messy. So now you know.
I think there's two things here. Maybe obviously you're wearing it because of that, but I think the other thing is this is a true reflection of yourself on how many things you're doing. So you do so much things, from being teacher, from being a speaker, to the founder of Mindful Warriors, to author. So many things, you're doing, which is absolutely incredible, and you're making a difference. And like I said, it's nice to have people on who are, making such a massive difference and helping the community. And obviously, you can help people obviously from worldwide, which is as well, which is incredible, from Canada to everywhere. Via Mindful Warriors Way. So do get in touch with Michelle. We'll put the link later on the video as well for everyone, so you can check it out. Do check it out. On the Michelle, thank you very much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure to have you on, and I'm sure later on down the line we will definitely chat again. I'm sure that's going to happen. On the Michelle, thank you very much for your time, and Wishing you all the best, having lots of success this year in 2026, the rest of 2026, and I'm sure, and wishing all the best for your family as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No, guys, we will be back tomorrow. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow at 6, and we will have a special on Friday. So make sure you do subscribe so you know when that is as well. Thank you very much, guys, and we will be back tomorrow.